Hi y'all, welcome to Spirit Mail. I'm Cheryl and this is episode 87, Daily Mail episode 87. Tonight we're going to talk about the Chariot and the Lepers. We're going to do a little bit of Bible and a little bit of tarot. How's that? Whenever I pull this card, the Chariot, I often say the energies are there, but we have to move, right? We have to take that first step and begin the process in faith. And then Spirit is the momentum behind us that moves us forward, that opens the doors that need to be opened, that starts behind us and then goes in front of us too, and opens the doors, does the things that needs to happen. But we have to take that first step so that the next step is ordered, so to speak, along the way. Even whenever we don't know, right? Look at that. That's the Chariot also. Those horses can't see the ground, so they don't necessarily know where they're headed or that there's ground underneath all of this fog. They're moving in faith. They're moving forward in faith. So I was listening to a Neville Goddard lecture, and they were telling the story about the lepers, and I was like, that's it. That's what I try to explain whenever I talk about the Chariot. So I'm going to read the story to you. And it's in Luke chapter 17, verses 11 through 19. It says, "Now on his way to Jerusalem, Jesus traveled along the border between Samaria and Galilee. As he was going into a village, 10 men who had leprosy met him. They stood at a distance and called out in a loud voice, 'Jesus, Master, have pity on us.' And when he saw them, he said, 'Go show yourself to the priests.' And as they went, they were cleansed. One of them, when he saw he was healed, came back, praising God in a loud voice. He threw himself at Jesus' feet and thanked him, and he was a Samaritan. Jesus asked, 'Were not all 10 cleansed? Where are the other 9? Has no one returned to give praise to God except this one foreigner?' Then he said to him, 'Rise and go. Your faith has made you well.'" Okay, so this story is so full of so much stuff. I did a video the other day, a Daily Mail episode the other day, about sometimes the message is in what's not being said. And part of that story is confirmed right here, because whenever Jesus saw them, he said, "Go show yourselves to the priests." What he didn't say is, "Where do you worship? Are you worthy of this?" He didn't say any of that stuff. I'm not going to repeat it all because I already did the video on it. But he didn't say any of that stuff. He said, "Go show yourselves to the priest." Why would he tell them to do that? Because in that day, the priests had to be, if you had leprosy, before you could get back into the community, you had to have a certificate from the priest that said you were well. So Jesus didn't heal them and send them on their way. He said, "Go show yourself to the priests." So they went, and as they took the first step and started the healing into motion, or the healing got put into motion as they took the first step. So as they took the first step, the energy came with them. The healing energy was there. It didn't just fall on them and make them well. Jesus asked them to go and show themselves to the priests. So as they started moving forward to the priests, that's when they were healed. That's when they were cleansed. So I get real excited whenever I see something like this, or I hear something like this, and it relates to a message that I always try to give whenever I read tarot, because that's what I keep saying, or that's the message, that's the feeling that I get with this particular card. The energies are there for you to move forward, right? But if we don't move forward, we don't get the blessing, we don't get the healing, we don't get the whatever it is that we're after. We have to move. We have to move, and the energies are there. God is spirit. And our energy, right? So we have to move the energy. It's our job in this 3D reality to move that energy, or move along with that energy, as it invoke the energy that's available to us. So when this card comes up and I say, we have to take that first step, that's why. Then the other thing that happened is out of all those 10 people, right, only one of them came back and said thank you to Jesus. Well, he was praising God. He fell at Jesus' feet and praised God. Whenever I remember whenever I was in church, I remember a sermon being preached about this, and he said only one person was thankful, and it was a Samaritan. It was a foreigner. Are we so worthy that we think it's owed to us? Was the question in part of the sermon. But what I love about this, whenever you read it, what I love about what it says is, he says, where's the other 9? I think he was just asking, because it didn't seem to be relevant. What was relevant was what he said at the end. Go. Your faith has healed you. Rise and go. Your faith has made you well. You did it. That's what Jesus said. You did it. I told you the energy was there. I told you to move. You're the one who moved. It was your faith. It was your faith taking that action that healed you. So whenever we get the Chariot in a reading, we should get excited. That means the energy's there for us to move in the direction that we feel God has told us to move, or that we want to move, or whatever that is, that desire within us. Move, because the energies are there for us to do that. Of course, like anything else, these are all general readings that I do. So if there's nothing inside of you that's prompting you to move, then that means that it might not be your reading. But for some of you, these readings are so spot on, and y'all are like, oh my gosh. So that's what I mean whenever this card comes up. The energies are there. The energies are in place. All we got to do is start moving forward. And then Spirit becomes the momentum that continues to move us forward, and that opens the doors for us as we go. So I love this. I love how God uses everything to speak to us, because that's what God does. Okay, we're going to pull a PS. God, guides, angels, archangels, Holy Spirit. Is there something that I missed in this little message that I could have said better? Or is there something I could have said better? Or is there something I missed altogether? That's what I want to know. Thank you for showing us how we can move energy. Does Spirit always require us to take an action before a miracle can be done? Let me say it this way. If the energies are there, God's not a genie in the clouds waiting to drop magical leprechauns in your life, or anything like that. That's not how that works. We are the creators, right? We are made in His image. We are the creators. So whenever He gives us indication that the energies are ripe, we are the ones who take the step. We're not required to. We don't have to. We don't have to take advantage of the energies that Spirit puts in our path. We don't have to. We're not required to. We're people of free will. So let's talk about another one that I did. Another video that I did in Spirit Mail was the guy who had a kid that was sick. His kid had suffered from epilepsy for so long. And he said, Jesus, please make him well. Jesus says, all things are possible if you believe. And he says, oh, I believe. And then in the very next breath, he confessed, please help my unbelief. So it was his desire to. So he didn't meet the qualifications of believing, but he desired to believe so greatly that Spirit moved and gave him help to believe, because he said, help my unbelief. That's how Spirit helped his unbelief, by healing his son. That helped his unbelief. It was a true, sincere desire for this to be done. Okay. I'm just waiting to see if there's any more. The lady with the issue of blood that touched the hem of his garment. And he turned and he looked at her and he said, it's your faith that has made you well. Guys, it's us. I know that puts a lot of responsibility on us, but it's us. It's us taking advantage of or invoking the energies that are available to us. It's us. Okay, now I'm going to do the PS. God, guides, angels, archangels, Holy Spirit, I thank you so much for the tarot as a tool. I thank you for messages that remind us how much power that we have in our own lives. Show us clearly, what is the PS with this message? One more thing real quick. I started doing readings today. I got the first one done, Cancer, and I could not get the other two out. I would go into these severe coughing fits only when I'm sitting in front of here trying to do those readings. So I don't think I'm sick. I just don't think those readings were supposed to go out today. But I will put Cancer out. The Cancer reading will go out. And we're going to do your PS. Okay. PS. Guys, we can hold on to so much, right? We can hold on. This person right here in this Chariot, she could easily hold back and say, dude, I don't know the way. I can't take the first step. Look how dark it is out there. I can't do it, right? But in faith, she does. Sometimes we have to let go of something called fear. We really do. We have to get to a place where we really trust Spirit, and we really know that if they wouldn't put a desire in our heart like that, if it wasn't something they were ready to walk through with us. So we got to release some of that fear sometimes. Look, guys, and this is my truth. God is not a man sitting on a cloud. This for me is about traditions, right? The way that we grew up, the way that we understand things, conglomerates, constructs, things, programming, stuff like that. For me, God is not a man sitting on a cloud deciding if we're worthy or not. Do you know how exhausting that would be for him? Number one, him, it, she, whatever. There were universal laws put in place, and the universal laws and then the energies that move around with the planets and all that stuff are all there for us to use to be able to maneuver and navigate the energies to move our lives forward in the way that we want to go. Wow. We have to let some of those things go sometimes to be able to move forward in our lives. And this is the Tower, right? So why is the Tower showing up? Because sometimes, guys, whenever we find out that we have this relationship, that God is literally living inside of us, and that he speaks to us and teaches us, and he can move, let's see, how do I want to say it? Hang on. He can show us how to move energies. And I'm not talking about magic tricks. There's nothing wrong with that. But I'm talking about how we can truly maneuver the energies and navigate the energies in a way that is in our highest and best good. When we understand our own power, right, it causes moments like this for other people if we don't line up the way they think we're supposed to line up. But in addition to that, the whole deal about the Tower is that we have an aha moment. And I really think that I'm feeling like they're saying, test us. Test us with this. Whenever you're feeling called to do something, take that first step and watch how we start moving the energy. Watch how we become the steam behind the engine that moves you forward. Watch. Test us with this, because you're going to have the revelation that comes after the Tower, perhaps without having to go through the Tower, right? Guys, that's the Daily Mail episode today, the Chariot and the Lepers. It's your faith. It's your faith that moves the mountains. That's it. Y'all go out and have a super duper day. I love you so much. Bye.